For dangerous vitamins you should never take, and 4 you should take daily if you're over 65. You trust those pills sitting in your cabinet. You take them each morning, thinking they're keeping you healthy. But what if I told you? Some of them may actually be slowly poisoning your body. Sounds harsh. I get it. But for millions of older adults, this is a quiet truth they never see coming. Your liver, your kidneys, your nerves, they're not 40 anymore. And the same vitamins that once helped you can now start building up, silently causing damage. That stiffness in your joints? That brain fog after lunch? That fatigue you blame on getting older? It might not be age at all. It might be what you're swallowing every single day. Backhand index pointing right if you've been feeling off lately, tired, foggy, or just not quite yourself. This might be why. Brain Today will uncover the 4 vitamins you should avoid after 65 and the 4 nutrients your body is begging for to stay strong, sharp, and mobile. Backhand index pointing right, stick around, because vitamin number 1 on our must-take list is linked to a 36% lower risk of death from all causes. And most seniors have no idea they're missing it. Directed and somewhere in the middle of this video, I'll reveal the biggest vitamin myth that doctors rarely talk about, and it might completely change the way you age. Waving hand if any of this hits home, even just a little. Tap that like button and subscribe. It helps us bring more life-changing health info to people just like you. Yellow circle, and you might be surprised. One of the worst offenders is probably in your cabinet right now. Vitamin number 4 to avoid. Vitamin A, retinol. When you hear vitamin A, you might think of better eyesight or glowing skin. But after 65, this vitamin, especially in its synthetic form known as retinol, can quietly turn into a hidden saboteur. Let's break it down. Vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means your body doesn't flush it out like water-soluble vitamins. It stores it in your liver and in your fat cells. So unlike vitamin C, it doesn't just pass through. It lingers. Now here's where it gets risky. As we age, our liver becomes less efficient. It's like trading in a brand new dishwasher for one from the 1970s. It still works, but it's slower, less reliable, and clogs easily. So every time you take a dose of retinol, whether from a multivitamin or a separate supplement, you're adding to a growing backlog your liver might struggle to process. Over time, that buildup turns toxic. And the symptoms? Sneaky. Dry skin, dizziness, joint stiffness, vision that seems slightly off. All of it easily mistaken for just aging. But research links excess vitamin A, especially in retinol form, to a 25% higher risk of atrial fibrillation. That's an irregular heartbeat that significantly raises stroke risk in older adults. Stop signs. So here's the truth. Yes, vitamin A is important, but not in this form. Not for your age. White heavy check mark instead. Go for food-based sources. Sweet potatoes, carrots, spinach, egg yolks. These contain beta-carotene, a precursor your body only converts when it actually needs vitamin A. That means no overload and no surprise toxicity. White heavy checkmark recap. Retinol stores in fat and liver, dangerous in excess. Seniors absorb it slower, excrete it slower. Stick with beta-carotene from foods. Nature built a safety switch for a reason. Next up, a mineral that sounds like a cure for tiredness, but could quietly be accelerating aging from within. And yes, it's probably in your daily multivitamin. Vitamin number 3 to avoid. Iron. Iron is often marketed as the energy mineral. And sure, when you're young or pregnant or have lost blood, it's vital. But after 65, that same iron can slowly become your enemy. Why? Because unlike some nutrients that pass through the body, iron stays. It accumulates, especially in your liver, heart, and pancreas. And when there's too much, it sparks something called oxidative stress. That's a fancy way of saying it starts damaging your tissues at the cellular level, like rust eating through metal. The signs? Tiredness, joint pain, even memory issues. Symptoms easily blamed on aging, but they could be early warnings of iron overload. Most seniors simply don't need extra iron. Men stop losing iron after puberty. Women stop after menopause. Unless you've got diagnosed anemia or recent blood loss, chances are your iron stores are just fine, or even too high. Here's what to do. Avoid multivitamins with added iron. Ask your doctor for an iron panel, especially ferritin and transferrin saturation. Focus on whole foods like leafy greens, lentils, and seafood. Why heavy checkmark recap? Iron overload leads to silent organ damage. Most seniors no longer need extra iron. Get tested before taking any iron supplement. Coming up, a supplement so common, it's practically in every senior's cabinet, yet it might be turning your arteries to stone. Vitamin number 2 to avoid: calcium, standalone. Take your calcium, or your bones will crumble. That advice has echoed through generations. But here's the new truth. Calcium without the right partners may be doing more harm than good. When you're young, your body soaks up calcium like a sponge. But after 65, the sponge dries up. Your bones no longer absorb it as efficiently. So what happens to the extra calcium floating around in your blood? It doesn't vanish. It gets lost. Often, it settles where it shouldn't. In your joints, your kidneys, and most dangerously, your arteries. The result? Hardened blood vessels, increased blood pressure, and in some cases, a ticking time bomb for strokes. Calcium pills can also cause stomach upset, constipation, and reduced absorption of key minerals like magnesium and zinc. And if you're on antacids or acid-reducing drugs, you're probably not absorbing calcium properly anyway. Brain is smarter strategy. Focus on calcium-rich foods, dark greens, sardines with bones, almonds. Combine calcium with vitamin D3 and K2. They help direct calcium into your bones, not your arteries. Consider skipping calcium pills unless specifically prescribed. White heavy checkmark recap. Excess calcium may harden arteries. Pills often misdirect calcium into soft tissue. Pair it with D3 and K2 or stick to food-based sources. Next is the one that shocks most people. A vitamin meant to protect your nerves, but may end up destroying them. Vitamin number 1 to avoid: vitamin B6, high dose. Vitamin B6 is like that old friend who meant well, but stayed too long. When you're young, it's great for metabolism and nerve function. But after 65, things change. Though it's water-soluble, B6 has a dark side. In high doses, it builds up in nerve tissue and causes toxicity, specifically, nerve damage that looks a lot like aging. Numbness, tingling, poor balance, difficulty walking. The kicker? These symptoms can sneak up gradually. You may think it's just neuropathy from age or diabetes, but it might actually be too much B6. How much is too much? The upper safe limit is 100 milligrams per day. But in older adults, even 50 milligrams taken regularly can lead to issues. Many OTC nerve formulas and multivitamins contain more than that. What heavy checkmark safe solution? Stick to B6 from food: tuna, bananas, chickpeas, poultry. If supplementing, use 2 to 5 milligrams max unless diagnosed deficient. Why heavy checkmark recap? Too much B6 damages nerves. Symptoms mimic aging. Use only low-dose or food-based B6 after 65. Now let's shift the focus from warning signs to winning strategies. Because while some vitamins can quietly harm you, others can be powerful allies in your fight to stay strong, clear-headed, and independent. These next nutrients? They're not just helpful, they're essential. Think of them as your body's quiet heroes, working behind the scenes to protect your heart, sharpen your mind, and keep your energy steady, especially after 65. Vitamin number 4 to take daily: magnesium. Let's start with a mineral that often goes unnoticed, but plays a key role in over 300 functions in your body. Magnesium is essential for nerve health, muscle function, blood sugar control, and even your heartbeat. But here's the catch: as you age, your ability to absorb magnesium drops. And many medications seniors take, like diuretics, acid blockers, or blood pressure pills, actually drain magnesium from your system. Low magnesium levels can quietly lead to muscle cramps, fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, and even irregular heart rhythms. The worst part? Most seniors don't even know they're low. Here's the fix. Choose highly absorbable forms like magnesium glycinate, citrate, or malate. Avoid magnesium oxide. It's poorly absorbed and may cause diarrhea. Aim for 250 to 400 milligrams per day through supplements and foods like spinach, almonds, avocado, and pumpkin seeds. Why heavy checkmark recap? Magnesium supports your muscles, heart, and nervous system. Deficiency is common after 65. Supplement smartly with the right form and dose. Coming up, a vitamin often mistaken for just bone health, but it's secretly one of the best defenses against infections, brain decline, and mood swings. Vitamin number 3 to take daily. Vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 isn't just about your bones. It's a major player in your immune system, brain function, and energy. And after 65, your body becomes much less efficient at producing it from sunlight. Low levels of D3 have been linked to weaker immune defenses, higher infection rates, depression, memory issues, and even increased risk of death from chronic illness. Here's what you can do. Get your blood levels tested. Ideal range, 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter. Most seniors need 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily. Choose D3 cholecalciferol, not D2. It's better absorbed. Take it with a meal that contains fat to boost absorption. Why heavy checkmark recap? D3 is vital for immunity, brain health, and emotional stability. Seniors produce less from sun exposure. Supplementing daily is often necessary. Next, the quiet deficiency that mimics dementia, causes weakness, and is one of the most overlooked threats to independence in older adults. Vitamin number 2 to take daily, vitamin B12. If you're over 65, there's a good chance you're low on B12, even if you eat well. Why? Because aging reduces stomach acid, which is needed to absorb B12 from food. Low B12 levels can lead to fatigue, numb hands and feet, memory loss, balance issues, and even misdiagnosed dementia. Here's how to protect yourself. Use sublingual B12 tablets or sprays. They absorb without relying on stomach acid. Look for methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin forms. Dose, 500 to 1,000 micrograms daily. Ask your doctor to test your levels if you feel off. Why heavy checkmark recap? B12 supports your brain, nerves, and energy. Absorption drops with age, even if your diet is good. A simple supplement can prevent serious issues. And now, the most powerful nutrient for seniors. It supports your heart, brain, joints, and even how long you live. Let's talk about omega-3s. Vitamin number 1 to take daily. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA. These aren't technically vitamins, but for seniors, omega-3 fatty acids are absolutely essential. Why? Because EPA and DHA reduce inflammation, support brain health, keep your heart rhythm steady, and may even help protect against dementia. Studies show that older adults with higher omega-3 levels have better memory, lower risk of stroke, reduced joint pain, and up to 36% lower risk of death from all causes. Here's how to get enough. Eat fatty fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel twice a week. If not, take a purified fish oil supplement. Dose, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily. Make sure it's tested for mercury and in triglyceride form for better absorption. Why heavy checkmark recap? Omega-3s support nearly every system in your body. Most seniors don't get enough from diet alone. A daily supplement can transform how you feel and age. Brain how to choose the right multivitamin after 65. Let's face it, the supplement aisle is overwhelming. Rows upon rows of bottles, bold promises, and buzzwords like advanced, ultra, and complete. But the truth is, many of these products are more about marketing than medicine. So how do you know which multivitamin actually supports your aging body and which ones are just expensive placebos? Here's what to look for. 1. Senior-specific formulas. These are tailored for aging needs with lower iron, balanced B vitamins, and usually more D3. 2. No megadoses. More is not better. Avoid products with more than 100% of the daily value for fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Excess can be harmful. 3. Third-party testing. Look for brands that test for purity, potency, and contaminants. NSF, USP, or Consumer Lab seals are good signs. 4. Forms that absorb better. Methylated B12, D3 instead of D2, magnesium glycinate over oxide. These details matter more than flashy packaging. 5. Simplicity. If it has 80+ ingredients, it's likely overkill. You want smart nutrition, not a kitchen sink approach. White Heavy Checkmark Pro Tip. Always check your existing prescriptions before starting a multivitamin. Some nutrients can interact with blood thinners, thyroid meds, or diuretics. Next up, I want to share a personal story that stuck with me for years, because sometimes it's not the science that moves us, it's the people. A true story that changed the way I prescribe vitamins. There was a woman I once consulted with. We'll call her Mary. Bright eyes, silver hair, full of life. She came in complaining of fatigue, joint stiffness, and memory fog. Her primary doctor chalked it up to just getting older. But something didn't sit right. We reviewed her supplements, and it turned out she was taking 3 different multivitamins, a separate B-complex, calcium twice a day, and high-dose fish oil from an online ad. Her lab work told the story. Sky-high vitamin A, low magnesium, B12 levels off the charts. And her iron? Far beyond normal. We simplified. Cut out the extras. Focused on food first, targeted supplements second. 3 months later, she walked in like a different person. The moral? More pills don't equal better health. Sometimes, they get in the way. Final takeaway. Your vitamin cabinet should serve you, not scare you. Aging well isn't about fighting time. It's about giving your body what it truly needs, in the right amount, at the right time. So before you pop another supplement, ask, am I taking this because it's trendy, or because my body needs it? Has this been tested, or just marketed to me? Am I checking in with my doctor, or relying on the label alone? Sparkles Your Health is your story. And the good news? You hold the pen. Backhand index pointing right if you've made it this far. Thank you. Now do one more thing. Go check your supplement shelf. What's helping you? What might be hurting you? And hey, if this video helped you feel more in control of your health, comment below and hit that subscribe button. Your voice helps us grow, and your support keeps us bringing you the truth, one smart tip at a time. Stay strong, stay informed, and stay vibrant. We'll see you in the next video, with more secrets to aging well, living long, and feeling amazing doing it.